4 rounds last week when he placed 4th.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of passing down that straightaway and through that corner all night because of the difference in timing. If you don't get off the first couple of jumps just right, it changes everything down the straightaway.
Here's our leader, number 934, Team Yamaha's David Villeman. Boy, he looks as confident as ever, and why not after 2 wins?
He's on a roll right now, and as much as Jeremy McGrath in the next heat has to prove, I believe Villeman has just as much to prove. Whichever of those 2 guys leaves here ahead of the other, really going to be a big story for the rest of this series.
Sebastian Tortelli, number 21, has a tough time of it. Brock Sellards tries to make the move. Here comes Sellers. Sebastian not wanting to bump him that time.
These guys are giving Sellards a little bit of a break. He's riding hard with him. I think they respect this kid. He's a 125 East rider just trying to get some experience in the 250. Maybe surprising him just a little bit.
Brock Sellards in 2nd place now behind Villeman, with Sebastian Tortelli right on his heels. But you're right about that, David. He opens up his 125 Eastern season next week in Indianapolis.
Well, he's going to be feeling like he can muscle that 125 around. After riding this 250 all this time, he's muscling this around now.
You see it, 4 laps to go, and the battle for 2nd is still fierce.
Here they come down the straightaway. Watch Sellards' timing.
Bobbles a bit. Here comes Tortelli. Oh, back and forth we go. Little tough box action. Picks up a cover.
Yeah, that could get sucked up in the rear wheel and be a problem. It's on the opposite side of the rear brake, the disc. So it shouldn't affect his rear brake at all, but if that rear wheel sucks it up in there, God knows where it's going to go. He's unaware of it.
Not much he can do. Remember Ezra Lusk picking up that tough box cover and having to stop.
That was just freak bad luck. I haven't seen that happen ever since, and there's been so many occasions as Tortelli starts to pull just a little bit of a lead now where those tough blocks has saved these guys.
We'll see if Brock Sellards can go the distance. We'll be right back to find out. More EA Sports Supercross on the way.
Hey, welcome to the Suzuki Fest 2000 Deli. Care to try a new Suzuki motorcycle with $400 free accessories? I suggest the Katana 750 or 600 and a helmet. The Bandit 1200 and 600 are house favorites and go great with leather jackets. Today's special is a GS 500E with a side of gloves and a helmet. Everything's good, even the financing, like 0 down, low APR, and low payments on selected models.
Come into Suzuki Fest 2000 today. Free accessories, great financing. Offers end April 30th.
All right, so what do you like?
Someday, at a job interview, they'll ask, do you work well under pressure? Try not to laugh.
Are you afraid of the dark?
We keep the light burning.
The critics are calling Pitch Black the scariest sci-fi movie in years. Pitch Black, rated R.
Dream, dream, dream. If a home of your own is just a dream, Champion can turn the dream into something real. For a limited time, own a brand new 2,000 square foot home for just $2,000 down. Hurry, this offer ends soon. So call this toll-free number now for the location of a participating Champion Home Center. Stop dreaming and start living in a new home of your own. Dream, dream, dream.
They defy all human instinct, for they are the ones who volunteer to place themselves in front of the target. The NHL on ESPN. This is the game.
Avalanche Devils, Thursday at 7:30 on ESPN2.
Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross is being brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. By Toyota Trucks, unbreakable every day. And by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2000, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. Welcome back to the Houston Astrodome, our first qualifying session for the 250s on the evening. And here's our leader, the Frenchman, number 934, David Villemin.
And he's lost some time that last lap. He lost a second to Tortelli. So this whole pack, especially Tortelli, has really closed the gap. See if maybe Villemin made a mistake. I wasn't looking. Lost some time that time. See if he can pick it back up. These guys have him in sight now.
Brock Sellards in third. There goes LaRocco cutting in front of him. Let's see if Sellards can hold on to a qualifying position. Of the 4 previous rounds, Sellards has gone directly to the main event in 2. That's pretty good average for a 125 rider.
Doesn't happen very often. These guys got one more lap. Sellards, the mechanic, is praying that that cover doesn't get sucked up in the wheel, because that'll just mean a lot more work for him.
Was it caught in a foot peg there?
I think it's just this foot peg just speared it. There's no way he could get it off unless he stopped and yanked it off. Can't do that now because he's got Damon Huffman right on his tail.
Damon Huffman wants to go directly to the main event. This would mark the 3rd time in 5 rounds for Huffman to be able to do that, but looks like Sellards, very determined rider.
This is where he's been having problems. And that straightaway right there coming up short. LaRocco made some mistakes that time. These guys talking about how easy the track is, but it's not as easy as it looks.
David Villemin, the checkered flag. And for Villemin now, the young man from Paris or France has now won his 2nd heat on the year 2000. Looking at the Suzuki results board, Villemin, Tortelli, LaRocco, and the 125 East rider Brock Sellards advanced to the main event. Damon Huffman and the rest head to the semis. Let's check in now with Davey Coombs, who's with our winner.
David, it looks like you're starting just where you left off last week in Phoenix. That was an excellent ride.
Yeah, I rode good, but I did some couple of mistakes. It's normal because the first heat, and hopefully I can ride better in the main event.
Okay, thanks a lot, David.
Jeremy and the rest of the Supercross field coming up next in tonight's 2nd qualifying heat. We'll be right back to the Houston Astrodome to check it out right after these words.
Out yet. That's an advantage for him. There's faster ways down that straightaway, but you can't do it consistent. Jeremy doesn't like to take big chances. He wants to do things fast enough and smooth enough. He can do it all the race.
Jeremy approaches the checkers and captures his 5th straight qualifying heat victory in the year 2000. Making a statement this time is Jeremy McGrath as Ricky Carmichael sails across in 2nd. On the Honda results page, Jeremy McGrath, followed by Ricky Carmichael, Kevin Windham, and Greg Albertine, the top 4, getting the transfer directly to the main event. Let's go down to Davey.
Man, Jeremy, you look like you wanted to win that one bad. I know it's been a tough week, a lot of speculation about last week on PaceSupercross.com all week long. A lot was made of that, but you come out here firing.
Yeah, you know, Houston here, I feel really good. The dirt's really good, and, you know, after last week, I just went home. I had a lot of time to think, and I trained really hard, and I just want to give myself 20 hard laps, and that was 8. We got 20 more to go.
What about Villemin? He won the heat race in front of you. Did you watch him at all?
Yeah, I was watching David a lot, and, you know, you got to hand it to him. He's a great rider, and he's come a long ways over this offseason. And, you know, I mean, I get to ride with him every day, so I see what he's doing, and he's picking it up really fast. And, you know, hats off to him. He rode a great race.
Right on. We'll look for you, too, in the main.
All right, thanks a lot. I just need a little better start. I think I can do a little better than that.
So the great crowd here at the Astrodome in Houston sees the new rivalry holding up after qualifying. Destination Las Vegas. For the first time ever, Supercross live on TV. You can see Toyota Trucks presents the EA Sports Finals Saturday, May 6, 10:30 p.m. Eastern from Las Vegas. We've got more of the Toyota Presents EA Sports Supercross coming up from the Astrodome in a moment.
Rated E for everyone. Super Cross 101. Oops. Whoops. Superman. Superman. Med. Ick. Medic. This power band poppin' on the pipe handlebar to handlebar lesson has been brought to you by Supercross 2000 and the letters EA Sports. It's in a game.
From all the race fans at Aaron Sales and Lease Ownership, a Busch Series race with the drama of 12 extra miles.
12 extra miles?
It's called the Aaron's 312.
What kind of idiot approved 12 extra miles?
Ken Butler.
Well, what about pit strategy? What about tires? What about fuel? What about you two? Who are you?
We're the Aaron's 312 girls. Ken approved us, too.
The Aaron's 312, Atlanta Motor Speedway, March 11th on ABC.
Like I said, I like the way this Butler guy thinks.
Italy went down to the wire to defeat the Americans in the Louis Vuitton finals. Now it's their World Cup on the water when they challenge defending champion New Zealand in the America's Cup finals. America's Cup 2000, Italy versus New Zealand, Friday at 7 on ESPN2.
Welcome back to Houston, Texas in the Astrodome. Art Ekman and David Bailey. And David, after the two qualifying heats, it comes right down to the same two guys, David Villeman and Jeremy McGrath, winning their heats. They both ride Yamahas. They both practice on the same track.
And that's a weird thing. When Rick Johnson and I were first and second in the point standings, we practiced the same racetrack as well. And it's you're friends, you respect each other, you're on the same team, but it's individual, man. And there's nobody on that track I wanted to beat more than Rick Johnson. I'm sure it's the same for these guys this weekend. Although I get the feeling that they both have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. After Villeman won these past 2 weeks, he could have bragged a little bit, but he didn't. He was very respectful of Jeremy. Realized that he didn't really take all his glory. He's just sort of borrowing it for the weekend. He knows that it's a long series.
We talked with the Kid and the King right before these got underway.
I think Jeremy is a pretty strong rider.
I think he's an incredible rider.
He has a lot of confidence because he won so many races.
He's an innovator.
Forced to be a champion.
Awesome rider.
I'm here to race against him.
Everyone's always tried to match me up with someone.
Just to try my best to beat him.
And I always seem to be getting, the best of everyone.
We don't know what will happen, but my goal is to beat him, that's for sure.
Throughout the beginning of the year, everyone's like Ezra Lusk, Kevin Windham, and it just never pans out. And I'm happy to see someone come up and step up and try and take it.
He's upset about last week.
I was pretty mad last week.
And I think he will show this week he will be very strong.
I trained hard this week.
I think it will be very hard to beat him this weekend.
I'm pretty sure that won't happen again.
I just want to think about take race per race,
Well, I understand that being consistent is good and all that, but winning is important. Winning is the best thing.
Make my job every weekend, just get a good start, get a podium if I cannot win, and win if I can.
It's not really consistency that floats my boat. I want to win races, and the thrill of victory is the best thing in the world.
It's a very good relationship we have.
He's a good kid. He wants to be over here. He's having a lot of fun. He's learning a lot, and he's a good guy to be around.
When the gate drop, it's like the war, Everybody wants to win.
I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to let my team down.
I think we have the same goal to win a championship.
I don't think there's any reason I shouldn't win this series.
For so many years of experience difference between McGrath and Villeman, it's amazing they both have so much respect for one another.
Well, I think they realize how much training it takes and how much riding they do. They ride together. They know how much time and how many laps they're putting out there on the test track, and the chances that they have to take to push the level as high as they have. And You know, it's going to be an interesting season if these guys are really head-to-head the way it looks like they could go tonight. If it's going to be any physical bumping at all, that could really mess things up over at Yamaha.
If you want to see them live after Indianapolis, here's our schedule. We go to Pontiac on the 19th, the first of 2 Silver Dome appearances on the year, and then the following week, visit this year's Super Bowl venue, the Georgia Dome, before hitting that very famous track at Daytona International Speedway, where, David, I know your father has a lot to say about.
Well, he does, and he always wants to try to build something new. He's usually calling me going, hey, what should I build that will mess these guys up? Last year I had an idea. These guys did it all in the first lap. That's how far the level has come.
Some of our most exciting moments are yet to come in tonight's semifinals, coming up next from the Houston Astrodome.
No down payment. Low financing on Honda Valkyries and Goldwings. Low payments on Valkyrie, Shadows, and Magnas with the Honda card. It's the road to savings. Incredible deals on some incredible Hondas. So hurry to your Honda dealer during the road to savings. How far do you have to go to be the best on Earth? A long, long way. Introducing an all-new ATV with Honda's legendary reliability. Available with push-button shifting and 4-wheel drive. The new Honda Rancher for the ranch we call Earth.
There's something about a clear answer to a computer question that makes me want to kiss someone.
Introducing Dell For Me, a new way to buy and own a computer. It lets you get more out of the latest technology. Choose the system you need.
My homepage is my castle.
Even create your own personal website. Since you're dealing directly with Dell, it's easy.
It's pure economics. An affordable computer means more black shoes.
This Dimension desktop featuring an Intel Celeron processor at 433 megahertz, and everything you see here is just $899.
I wish my computer came with a little cyber geek who lived up here on the roof and just came down whenever I had a question.
And Dell For Me includes tech support 24/7.
Tech support?
It's all about putting everything you need in one place. It's all about you.
Sitting in front of my computer is just as exciting as those extreme sports.
Call to order your Dell Dimension with an Intel Celeron processor. Be direct. Dell.
This week's Honda Close-Up takes a look back at one of the great Honda champions, Jean-Michel Bayle. The goal of the Frenchman Bayle, a 2-time world champion, was to be recognized as the best motocrosser in the world. That meant beating American riders and winning American titles. He first came to the States in 1989 and won a 500 motocross at Unadilla and a 250 at Gainesville. 1990, he rode a 125 to 3 motocross wins, plus he won championships in the 250 and 500 motocross ranks and a championship in the 250 Supercross ranks. Bayle would compete one more year in 1992, finishing 3rd in both motocross and Supercross. But with his goal realized, he looked to new worlds to conquer. In 1993, he turned to the World Championship road racing scene. He didn't win a title, but earned full factory support to the 500 class. A fierce competitor, Jean-Michel Bayle was one of the best on dirt and the pavement. Jean-Michel Bayle, this week's Honda Close-Up. We're back at the Astrodome, and the first semifinal round is just moments from getting started. Damon Huffman, John Dowd, Kyle Lewis, Michael Craig, son Jean-Sebastian Waugh, Shane King, the very fine rider out of New Zealand, the former 2-time 500 motocross GP champion. They're all waiting for the card to go sideways. There you see number 51, Jason Thomas. He should be in the hunt. Dowd, number 16, right to his left side as he looks out at the card.
You can see by the way the guys are lined up to the inside, or to their left as they face the first corner. That's because the inside is where the hole shots have been coming from. McGrath was able to tuck it around the inside with a bad start, and he came out in pretty good shape.
So we'll see who comes out on top after this long straightaway start here at the Dome. Damon Huffman, number 20. Team Suzuki goes to the outside. Waugh is right there, but fades in the whoops. And Kyle Lewis moves into second place on a Suzuki. Number 43 is Michael Craig. Craig has one Supercross win in his career. That was Tampa. As we take a look at our leader, Damon Huffman.
Huffman's got Kyle Lewis, the Japanese champion, right behind him. He's starting to close the gap slightly.
Damon has been in single figures the last 2 races. His best was a 7th at San Diego, and John Dowd, he took a 5th at San Diego.
Last week was a tough one for him, going down, having to come from last. It's not what he wanted to do after coming off a 5th place. He wanted to carry that momentum through Phoenix, and he just kind of got knocked right back to the back of the pack. He's got to build all that confidence again. Here he is in the semi. That's not helping.
John Dowd in 3rd with Michael Craig behind him in the whoops. Boy, Dowdy's getting good speed on those whoops. A lot of the riders.
He looks good through there. Huffman looks pretty fast out front. That's where he was making up his time in the heat race. That's a really tricky section right there. These guys are not taking the same timing as what we see from the heat race winners. They're giving up probably a half to his full second a lap.
65, Grayson Goodman is in 5th. The top 5 only qualify for the main event. So we got the 3-way battle going with Goodman, Waugh, and King for that final transfer spot.
I think Goodman's probably got the biggest cheering section. That should help a little bit.
He's just up the road a piece from Dallas.
King tried to get in there on the inside. Grayson just guessed right, moved over slightly, and just got right back on the power. Held on, but King is putting all kinds of pressure on him back there.
Grayson Goodman has Plano Honda, his sponsor. There you see him cutting in front. He's made 3 out of the 4 main events so far this year. His best is 17th in the second Anaheim race. Always a quick starter. And back to our leader now, Damon Huffman, number 20, who's just cruising along.
He is starting to separate himself now. You can see the lead he's got is Dowd starting to close in right now. But Huffman's pace and the pace of these top 3 guys is 2 to 3 seconds slower than what we're seeing in the heat races.
Huffman with a 3.8-second lead on second place. Kyle Lewis, a 14-year pro veteran, number 112, in front of John Dowd, who's got most of the geriatric records of Supercross. But he started his career a lot later than a guy like Kyle Lewis.
It's just passion and experience and maturity, I think, that really helps John do what he does. He sure inspires all the guys out there that ride for fun, that are a little bit older. They're going, well, shoot, if he can do it at that level, we ought to be able to ride around pretty good at a local level.
John was the oldest to win a 125 crowd and the oldest to win a 250 main event in Supercross history.
You can see that his timing, though, is just slightly off. He's not able to put that bike exactly where he wants. He tends to jump. You can tell when John's a little bit uncomfortable, things aren't clicking. He tends to jump with the front end a little bit higher. And if you watch McGrath, Wyndham, Carmichael, they always take off nose low.
We'll be right back to see if Damon Huffman can capture the semifinal.
In demand, pay-per-view for the demanding viewer. You rule.
Jerry Chevrolet Oldsmobile's new location is finally open, and to celebrate, we're having a grand opening sale. Get your next new car or truck for just 1 cent over dealer invoice. That's right, you can drive away today in a new Chevy or Oldsmobile for just a penny over the factory invoice total. Plus factory rebates up to $2,500 and interest rates as low as 0.9. Come on down to Jerry's for the deal of the new millennium. It's the grand opening 1 penny over invoice sale going on now at Jerry Chevrolet Oldsmobile in our new location on Fort Evans Road next to Truckin' America in Leesburg.
Loyola Marymount star Hank Gathers collapsed here. To honor him, Bo Kimball, his teammate and best friend, shot his very first free throw with his left hand, just like Hank.
First free throw, left-handed, in honor of his friend, Hank Gathers.
Releases it. It goes in every time for Hank.
We're back in the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, as Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross. Our first semifinal round qualifier is underway, and our leader was number 20, Team Suzuki's Damon Huffman. Huffman has shown improvement over the last couple of rounds, but this could be the first time that he's actually taken a checkered flag in the year 2000. After double-digit finishes in Anaheim, Damon put together his best result of the season in San Diego, a 7th place, and then stayed in the top 10 with a 9th in Phoenix. He's a Supercross winner, one of 10 trying to make tonight's main event. He won Atlanta back in 1997, only to break a leg practicing for the very next race. You can check all these facts out at PaceSupercross.com. And while you're there, incidentally, check out that bar-to-bar video, the story of the 1999 season. There's the 14-year veteran Kyle Lewis in 2nd place. He's also on a Suzuki. And then number 16 on the Kawasaki. Right behind him is John Dow, the winner in Charlotte back in 1998.
Dow just backing it in, right back on the power. Trying to get that timing down that straightaway better. You can see that they've really got to slow down if they're not jumping over all those jumps the way the leaders are in the heat races. Huffman, although he's broken away from this pack, his lap times are 57 seconds. McGrath's are 54.
A confidence builder for Damon Huffman as he takes the checkered flag, winning our first semifinal round here in Houston. An outstanding performance for Damon. It's got to build his confidence as he goes back to Team Suzuki for the first year after several years with Kawasaki. So our Honda final list is Huffman, Lewis, Dowd, Craig, and Waugh. Qualifying for the main event, let's go down to Davey.
Damon, that was a nice business-like ride out there in the semi.
Yeah, you know, my Suzuki got me out front right away, and I rode smooth, and it feels good to get up here and win one.
What about the main event?
I've been feeling great, you know. My Suzuki's been working good. I've been feeling great, so I just need to get out front in the main event, and I think I have a good time and finish up there.
5 more riders have a shot at it here in semifinal number 2. Larry Ward, Tim Ferry. Ward number 10 there in your screen on the Kawasaki. Tim Ferry, Heath Voss, Corey Botter, Fournette, and several other riders trying to make the main event here in Houston, Texas. We're set to go for our second semifinal any moment now. Heath Voss on the Honda. A true privateer, number 33, takes the lead.
Look at the lead he already has. For the last few races, everybody that gets the hole shot, they build up a big lead through that first whoop section.
And it's Tim Ferry and Larry Ward, as we expected, in that top 3. They're Jason Voss. Interesting to see if Voss can hang those veterans in back of him, but hang on.
I don't think he's intimidated. He's been up there long enough. He rides with these guys all the time. Plus, they take 5 out of this race, so if they were both to get by, he doesn't have that kind of pressure thinking that if they get by, he'd have to go to the last chance.
We saw the picture of Larry Ward with a smile on his face, but you don't see a smile on his face very often these days, as now we check out what Heath Voss looks like. But look at the battle we've got going on here.
Now Larry Ward's just back there going, okay, maybe these guys will take each other out, and I can just cruise right between them. The whoop section will be good right here.
Tim Ferry takes Heath Voss coming out of the whoops.
That was beautiful. You know what was smart there was most of the time these guys go in wide. They try to square back underneath. I think Tim was trying to bluff that. Forced Voss to get on the brakes and try to cut off that line. He rode right around him. That was slick.
The big reason we don't see a smile on Larry Ward's face is not only has he not been doing well lately, but He's riding in a great amount of pain. He's got a cracked upper rib up near the shoulder area.
Well, you know, when these guys get out there and warmed up, it really doesn't bother you too much. You arrive with a little bit of pain. Villeman also has a wrist injury that he's wearing a wrist brace, looked like. As soon as you get out there and get warmed up, the adrenaline starts cooking. You don't think much about it until you make a mistake and over-jump one of these huge obstacles or come up a little short. That's when it gets your attention.
Here's our leader, Tim Ferry. Ferry led 9 laps after a second-place start last week.
Looks like
in second place, it's Larry Ward.
Foss just learned that he's going to have to pick it up before the main event of that whoop section. That's where these guys are able to get around.
We'll be right back for the finish of our second semifinal from Houston, Texas, right after these important words.
So you're Greg Albertine?
Yeah, I'm Greg Albertine, national motocross champion. But you could call me Albie. Gio's ever see me do a jump? Woo woo! I can fly, babies, yeah! When I'm up there, I'm the man! So how about you two girls? And Albie.
Hey, look, it's Greg Albertine.
Another fantastic ride, Greg.
Thanks, Davey. Yeah, I felt really good out there. Thought clothing worked well and managed to get a hold of it.
Yeah, I'm Nathan Ramsey.
This is so wrong. This was supposed to be the prime of my life, not the end of my life. I should have taken more chances. With her, my broker. He took chances with my money. If only life came with a roadmap.
It does. Introducing MyPrimetime.com. Creative tips, tools, and technology to get the most out of life.
Boy, I wish I had another chance.
Whoa. MyPrimetime.com. Your personal trainer for life.
Well, considering the popularity of the swimsuit issues, the SportsCenter swimsuit calendar seemed like an idea whose time had come. Sex sells.
Show me the sex. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
I don't want lotion. Get away.
Very sexy. Oh, yeah. Megan, give me the snakes, would you?
Snakes?
No, you're going to look sexy. It's going to look great.
You've got to be kidding me. We know what people like.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
We're back in Houston, Texas at the Astrodome, where Tim Ferry, number 15, has taken the lead in our second semifinal round and held onto it with a tight grip. That final transfer spot that everybody's looking at right now, though, is a battle between Jason Frenette and Katie. Ty Katie out of Fullerton, California. Jason Frenette is from Alberta, Canada.
Frenette just about going over the bike. That shows how important it is when these guys grip the side of the bike with their legs. If he hadn't been doing that, he might have gone right up over the handlebars or lost control and gone off the racetrack. But the whoop section, you got to just go through there and just let your feet float around on the pegs. And the only thing that keeps them from landing back on them is your grip on the bike.
Well, here's two guys who haven't made a main this year, if I recall correctly. Katie, number 358, and Frenette is 224 on the Suzuki. Frenette tries to make the move. Only one lap to go here in our second semifinal. The white flag is out. There you see Ward trails Ferry by 3.2 seconds.
And their lap times are 56 seconds. Watch Ferry through this corner. He might not do it. Yeah, he's cruising a little bit. He was on the power through there, a big rooster tail, just wide open, putting the bike right where he wanted. Starting to feel comfortable out there. It's too bad that happened to him in the heat race because he had some speed there.
This would be Ferry's second semifinal win of the 2000 season of Supercross. Tim Ferry, Larry Ward, and Heath Voss. Let's check out the Suzuki results page, the official page. As this crowd looks on, Tim Ferry, Ward, and Voss, of course, qualifying. Austin Squires in the 4th spot and Ty Katie in the 5th. 2 qualify to go to the main event. The rest are going to the last chance qualifier. Only 2 spots remaining in the 20-rider gate. Let's go down to Davey.
Tim, way to rebound from the mechanical problem you had in the heat race. What exactly happened?
Actually, right at about a lap after Jeremy passed me, the master cylinder broke in half.
Just a freak thing. I don't know really what the cause was, but I figured I better play a little safe and back it down a little bit.
I know last week you led for 12 laps. You looked fantastic. How do you get 8 more laps out of yourself this week?
Actually, I think it calmed down a little bit. Once I got around Ricky, I went as fast as I could till I had nothing left, and then when Jeremy started catching me, I started getting a little bit of arm pump, and at that point, there was nothing I could really do. I mean, I've been doing a lot of motos and stuff, so I know I'm in shape. I just got to get used to running up front and stuff, and the main thing that's helping is my bike's been really good off the gate, and I got to thank Chaparral, Mazda, Yamaha, my mechanic Jerry Campbell, Larry Brooks for helping me out so much in this off-season.
Good luck in the main.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Jerry Campbell actually builds that engine. It doesn't come out of Team Yamaha. We'll be right back, as we will have more Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross right after this.
With a Suzuki RM under you and Team Suzuki behind you, there will be absolutely nobody in front of you. Just ask Suzuki's Greg Albertine, 1999 AMA 250 Motocross National Champion.
I'm Mark John Jeffries for People PC. Many people wonder how good a computer People PC can possibly offer for just $24.95 a month, along with unlimited internet access, in-home service, and great deals. Is a People PC computer a no-name piece of free-war junk? No, my friend, it's not. It's a brand you know with all the power you need to send emails, manage your finances, and play important new video games. I hope this clears up any ambiguity.
Italy went down to the wire to defeat the Americans in the Louis Vuitton finals. Now it's their World Cup on the water when they challenge defending champion New Zealand in the America's Cup finals. America's Cup 2000, Italy versus New Zealand, Friday at 7 on ESPN 2.
The Houston Astrodome played host to rounds 4 and 5 of the 1978 Supercross season. Defending Supercross champ Bob Hurricane Hanna won the opener of the Twin Bill and was looking to become the first rider in history to score the Houston double. The early leader was Steve Wise, followed by Marty Tripes and Chuck Sun. Hanna, he was back in 7th place. A few corners later, the original Supercross star was in 6th. With Wise and Tripes pulling away, Hanna moved to 4th behind the hard-to-pass Chuck Sun. By the midway mark, Hanna had disposed of Sun and was in the draft of the leaders. The war was on. Tripes had won 2 of the first 4, smelling championship. Hanna, though, was quick to respond. With a darting move, he powered his Yamaha through the rough stuff. The rutted out Sandy set a whoops. The gamble paid off for Hanna. He makes the inside pass on Wise, and when this pair of riders reached the next corner, the battle for 2nd place was over. Adrenaline and momentum were on the side of Hurricane Hanna. He moved to Tripes' rear wheel and dove to the inside. Tripes tried to cut back under Hanna, but the Hurricane winds were blowing too hard. From that point, Hanna easily outdistanced the field, including Tripes, who finished 2nd, and Wise, who finished 3rd. Houston would be the start of a 6-race win streak that carried Hanna to his 2nd consecutive title.
Welcome back to the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Davey Coombs with you. And these fans, well, look at the sympathy here for number 12, Jimmy Button. Get well soon, Jimmy. Even looks like David Bailey's signature there off to the right. He's going through rehabilitation in Scottsdale, Arizona. He's making daily progress. The doctors say that it's been 2 weeks since the accident, but it's about the level of it they had expected 6 months. So, but they're still cautiously optimistic. He can pull his legs up, and David, it really looks great.
I went to see him on Sunday, and he is making leaps and bounds. The fact that he can have all that movement and feeling this quickly after the injury is always a good sign from all the people that I've met in these similar situations. And being moved to Phoenix to start the rehab, I know Corey Wharf, trainer for a lot of these guys, has helped tremendously with him. He's going to be with him there a lot of the time. And you know, like McGrath said earlier, he's a racer and he knows how to bounce back from things like this.
All these races all season long have a destination, and that destination is Las Vegas. For the first time, you can see on live television Supercross, David.
This is great. I mean, just all the developments in the sport of Supercross, the packed houses we've had all this year, the 2-point spread on the title, and I have a feeling that if McGrath can win his 7th championship, he just may not wrap it up until there. So if you can't go, check it out live.
During the break, the fans saw a 6-lap last chance qualifier that determined the final spots, 2 spots on the 20-rider gate. The Suzuki results board shows us Shane King put KTM's 4-stroke in the main event for the 3rd straight week. Jason Thomas edged the home state favorite Grayson Goodman, who takes home the consolation prize of a Racer X gas car. The 125 West riders are starting to get to the gate once again this week. We had a qualifying race crash, but this time it involved a former points leader and current contender. Our Davey Coombs has the latest. Davey?
Bad news before the 125 main event. The people at the Pro Circuit can't let me know that they've lost their team leader. Talon Volan, who is going after that 125 West Region title. Well, that crash he suffered earlier in the heat race, cracked collarbone. He's going to be out a minimum of 4 weeks. His title hopes for the 125 Indoor Championship are now over. Talon will probably start focusing on the Outdoor Motocross Series.
What a horrible break for Talon Volan, who had such a great start on the 125 Western scene.
Yeah, he would even surprise himself, picking up a win a little earlier than he expected. He was right there on the podium, getting the kind of consistency that he felt was necessary to win the championship. We've seen him go down plenty of times, but he's so tough. He gets back up, and this time was just too much. It's really unfortunate.
Pace Motorsports is helping another sport mature. A great motorcycle event coming up February 25th through the 26th. Denver, Colorado, Pace Freestyle Motocross. We'll be right back to Supercross here in the Astrodome as the fans await more excitement in the 125s.
Hey, honey, welcome to the Suzuki Fest 2000 Daily. Care for a Suzuki motorcycle with $400 free accessories? How about the Intruder LC 1500 and a leather jacket? The Intruder 1400 or 800 go great with a helmet, and you can't miss with the Marauder or Savage 650. It's all good, even financing like 0 down, low APR, and low payments on selected models.
Come into Suzuki Fest 2000 today. Free accessories, great financing. Offers end April 30th.
So, what'll it be?
Deep inside the Toyota Racing Development Facility, we work round the clock to give drivers every edge we can. In fact, here's our latest prize, right in here. A 600 horsepower Tundra Racing V8. Isn't she beautiful?
What will the credit card of the future look like?
The future?
Think of the possibilities.
The world's changing.
We'll need a card that can change with it.
What will a credit card look like that has an introductory rate of 0% and then a fixed rate as low as 9.99%?
Definitely not like anything in my wallet.
That has no annual fee and gives you the flexibility to pay over time.
So, I'll be able to extend the payments on my new lunar vacation?
What will a credit card look like that provides guaranteed protection from online fraud?
I don't know.
But I think it has my name on it.
A card with a built-in smart chip to give it ever-evolving capabilities.
A credit card?
With a brain?
That makes other credit cards seem so...
20th century.
Actually, it'll look like this. Introducing Blue from American Express, a whole new kind of credit card.
We really do live in an interesting time.
To apply, call 1-800-BLUE-600.
I have seen the future.
And it fits in my wallet.
Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 2000 Honda race team, Honda Ride Red. And by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires. Traction, control, power, speed for everyone with the hunger. Dunlop Superiority. Welcome back to Houston's Astrodome. More EA Sports Supercross. 125s as they're getting ready An interesting points race because we've had a different winner in every round so far. With David Pingree, an 8-point leader over Greg Schnell. Bentley, after his best finish in second last week, did a nice job moving up the ladder. And Plano Honda's Jerry Dostal rounds out the top 5. With our points leader right now, down below, is Davey Coombs.
David, we've watched you get good starts all year long, but unfortunately 3 times you haven't made it out of the first turn.
Yeah, I've had a lot of bad luck the last few rounds, getting into the first turn first, but just with other people coming in and hitting me or whatever, bad luck, but gone down and had to work my way up from the back.
A much different start tonight, more of a sweeping turn. Is that going to change the strategy? You still is going to go for it, try to get the whole shot?
Well, you still try and get there first. You just hope that maybe things will spread out and go through that turn a little more smooth, and hopefully I can stay on 2 wheels.
So David Pingree taking it head on as he's had so much trouble in that turn 1, David.
Well, there's really no other way. I mean, you can either let the pack go, which is just a kind of a coward strategy, or you just got to go for that whole shot and hope that this first turn that they've done a great job of redesigning and making it more safe, a big sweeper, will do the trick for you and not just have these guys bottleneck up into your back wheel.
You know, if you can't make the Supercrosses around the nation, there's lots of opportunity to see this type of action. For instance, the Arena Cross Series. Denver, Colorado in February 18th and 19th. Then on to Sacramento, California. March 3rd and 4th in Salt Lake City, Utah. That action is wonderful, as well as the Ultra Cross Series that Pace promotes. Out of Tampa, Florida on the 19th and 20th, Greensboro, North Carolina, and Memphis, Tennessee, rounding out that month of February. We'll be right back with more EA Supercross sports action right after these words.
If you're thinking about a new career, think about 7-Eleven. You'll find promotion opportunities, management experience, plus great benefits like flexible schedules, a health plan, and profit sharing. Hey, give us a call.
We're here at Sterling Chevrolet with the Little Pop Quiz. What Chevy dealer has a huge selection of new and used vehicles? And what Chevy dealer guarantees their pricing so that if you find a lower price, they'll refund 110% of the difference? And who's the only Chevrolet dealer with a mascot? You tell him, Tahoe, speak. Okay, mascot and trainer. The answer to all your questions is Sterling Chevrolet, 1/2 mile west of Drainsville Road on Route 7 in Sterling, Virginia.
Sometimes after NHL tonight, I take my knowledge to a sports bar. There's always someone there who thinks his knowledge is the biggest. Then I show them mine.
From Houston's Astrodome, we're awaiting the start of the 5th round of the 125 West action. This is the final round before they take a break to get the 125 East Series underway next week in Indianapolis. So a win here is going to be an important one. So far, we've had a different rider win the 4 previous rounds. Let's check out the Suzuki starting lineups now. The very fast Justin Buckaloo, Robbie Horton, David Pingree, the points leader, Casey Lytle, who won the last race last week, Christopher Gosler, Greg Schnell, also a winner on the circuit. But the guy, it's obvious, who's not in this lineup, David Bailey, is Talon Volan.
Well, he went down earlier in a heat race, and the bike kind of flipped up over on top of him, and apparently it chipped his collarbone. Davey went and got the story on that for us, and it's unfortunate because Talon had won a race. He was right where he wanted to be, consistent, and finally we found out this guy can get hurt bad enough where he's not able to ride. Other than that, all the other times he's been able to still make the main, whether he was injured or not.
125s squirming back and forth as the 32nd board is now up. Who will get the Yahoo Sports Whole Shot Award here in the 125s? It's sideways, and we're set to go for the 125 main event from the Astrodome.
It's number 188, Mark Burkhardt, getting the
Yahoo Sports Whole Shot Award. Burkhardt didn't qualify for a main event in 3 of the last 4 races. He's got a good 6th place start in San Diego, only to finish in 14th. So he's got to be thrilled right now to be out in front. KTM's Tane is in 2nd, so we've got 2 KTMs out in front.
They've got the Pro Circuit rider, Billy Payne, right behind him. A big mistake by Buckaloo right back there. He won't be able to jump the triple, and riders are just going by.
What a surprise here to start the 125.
Well, KTM's got to be pretty happy about this. I talked about the horsepower they've had earlier in our show, and these guys have proved it right now. The longest start of the season so far, and both these KTMs just motored everybody to the first corner.
Mark Burkhardt gets the Yahoo Sports Whole Shot Award. Burkhardt on the KTM from Pinkerton, Ohio.
Watch Payne through this whoop section. Hal actually has taken the same line. It's hard to pass when you're doing that, but he was fast there all day.
Can he keep it? The 2 KTMs now are battling for the lead. Tane, number 120. And moving into 2nd place is Billy Payne.
For whatever reason there, Burkhardt was unable to jump that triple. He got a little bit of wheel spin out of the corner approaching, didn't get the speed, didn't feel comfortable with it, and dropped the position. I talked with Payne's mechanic this afternoon before practice about his ride last week. Look at Payne, jumps all the way to the face of that Scott Mountain. Anyways, mechanic said that he really didn't ride very well last week. It's the slowest he's gone all season, picked up his best finish. And he's got a little bit of confidence from that. He knows what it takes now. He needs to just tone it down a little bit and be smart.
The old axiom, maybe slower is faster.
Absolutely.
So Billy Payne now in pursuit.
No question this kid has the speed.
Tane in first place right now, but for how long? He was 6th last week, moving into a tie for 6th in points. Payne looking for the avenue to make the pass, and he slides out.
Quick remount. He's going to preserve his position, it looks like. Yep, maybe not.
Billy Payne showed us marked improvement in the last 2 races with a 7th and a 4th. And he was hoping for the podium there.
He's still in it. Look at him jumping all the way up onto that Scott Mountain. That's a much faster line.
That's Lytle, number 30. Shea Bentley right behind him, number 104 on the pro circuit. And Billy Payne, his teammate.
Boy, this is shaping up to be a great race because behind these 3 riders right here, just closing in is Pingree. And Payne went down again.
Number 195 is not in this picture anymore because Shea Bentley left him behind when he went down. And Bentley is now hounding on Lytle. Bentley is looking for his first Supercross win. Casey Lytle got his first last week. And our leader, Roderick Tane, is looking for his first win.
Well,
you know, I almost kiddingly said that number 120 on the KTM might be the next winner because we've had 4 different winners on 4 brands, different brands. I said KTM must be next.
Could be some truth to that, but not if Lytle and Shea Bentley have anything to say about it because they're gaining. I think when you look at these 2, they both have a lot of momentum.
Shea Bentley bar to bar with Lytle. Lytle coming in that corner stronger.
Yep, he has a little bit better timing up onto that plateau, but if you look at Lytle, he won Phoenix. He was leading San Diego, had a problem with the motorcycle, was forced to drop out. He's been the guy with the speed lately, but if you look at Shea Bentley, a 3rd at San Diego, a 2nd at Phoenix, he's ready for a win. He's matching Lytle. Every corner, every jump, he's right there.
And Pingree is joining the group. Number 35 on the Suzuki.
I think it's really important this time, Art, for Pingree to get back in there and establish his dominance, that point lead. I know he's had some bad starts and had to come from behind, but here he doesn't have that excuse. He really needs to go in there and prove to these guys ahead of him that he's faster.
Lytle, Bentley, and Pingree all battling behind this guy, number 120, Roderick Tane. We'll be right back in a moment.
Now, get the biggest enlistment bonus the Army has ever offered, as much as $20,000. Plus up to $50,000 to pay for college. For your future, for your country's future. Call today, 1-800-USA-ARMY.
Applicants wanted. High-tech jobs. Window offices. No experience necessary.
Here's how you can more than double your current life insurance coverage without paying 1 penny more than you are now. Call Best Quote. We'll prepare a free rate comparison of 5 top-rated term life policies that meet your specific needs. Here's a sampling of the huge savings Best Quote has recently uncovered. If that's less than you're currently paying, call Best Quote today for your free rate comparison. There's no obligations and no hassles. Simply the best insurance at the best rates from Best Quote. No salesperson will ever call you.
Well, considering the popularity of the swimsuit issues, the Sports Center swimsuit calendar seemed like an idea whose time had come. Sex sells.
Show me the sex. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
I don't want lotion. Get away.
Very sexy.
Oh, yeah. Megan, give me the snakes, would you?
Snakes?
No, you're gonna look sexy. It's gonna look great. You've got to be kidding me.
We know what people like.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Welcome back to EA Sports Supercross from Houston, Texas. The 125 West main event is underway. Roderick Tane is still our leader. Number 30, Casey Lytle, last week's winners in second, with last week's runner-up Shea Bentley in third. The points leader, David Pingree, here is in fourth. Roderick came over from France last year to run 3 races for FMF when the Honda support team had so many injuries. This year on a KTM, after failing to qualify in the opener, number 120 is doing very well. He had a whole shot at a 4th place in San Diego, his best performance to date, but he's looking to better that result here in Houston. Look at him go through the whoops. Number 120, Roderick Tane. Lytle is right on his tail. Lytle in second place. Casey's looking strong in second. We've got a real freight train, though. Look at this. 120 Tane, Casey Lytle, and then right behind him is Shea Bentley, number 104. The red flag is out. Tane is rolling the hills, David.
Ryder had gone down over the triple. You see him on the middle of the racetrack there in between the lanes. These guys were forced to ride over one by one, but looked to me like Lytle was able to sort of capitalize on that.
He did. Lytle made a move during that time. And Lytle is our new leader. The 3rd leader of our race.
I wouldn't count out Pingree and Bentley back there. It looks like Tane, that was just an unfortunate circumstance. He kind of got caught off guard there with all those flags and having to roll all those. These guys did still catch him, so this is going to be a 4-way battle to the end. And the guy that makes the fewest mistakes probably come out on top.
Bentley would love to finish in front of Pingree, the points leader, and pick up more points. Having to roll all the triples. Davey, let's go down to you.
Guys, I just spoke to Duke Finch, the AMA referee. He told me he is going to dog Casey Lytle 1 position after this race, no matter where he finishes.
So that changes our situation drastically.
That's unfortunate. You know, I think that just came up on Casey so quick. He was so caught up in the battle. I have a feeling he's going to be upset with that, and didn't really mean for it to happen, but you can't go and take it back.
Casey Lytle is the leader on the track, but if he's docked 1 lap, it is now Shea Bentley. So what Davey was telling us was he's docked 1 position. He would actually be in second place.
Now this is a new style. Look at Bentley using all that body English to try to keep the bike low.
Shea Bentley cuts to the inside. Unofficially, he's in first place. 7 laps to go in our 125 main event. Could we have the 5th different winner in 5 rounds in the 125 West?
Shea's going to have to pull it off for that to happen. He's sandwiched by winners. These guys are taking the same line basically to the whoop section, so the only way Bentley really has a chance is he gets over to the right. He may have other ideas. He may feel like he can get him somewhere else on the racetrack. Doesn't want to go in those whoop sections where the bumps aren't worn down as much. Take a chance through there.
Casey Lytle holding off Shea Bentley. Less than 6 laps to go. Bentley tries the other side now. He's got a good angle. Shea Bentley takes the lead. 4 leaders in this race. And it's not over with yet with Pingree.
I'll tell you what, 3 of them just about the nicest guys you ever want to meet in this sport. All of them smiling, all of them making the best out of bad situations, working hard. You want them all to win.
Shea Bentley got his first podium in San Diego, a 3rd place. He got his second place last week in Phoenix. That was after coming out of the LCQ.
He's been riding in some pain as well. He had an injury that he's kind of been nursing along, keeping a little bit secret.
Let's go back trackside to Davey Combs.
Duke, could you give us an official ruling on what happened with Casey Lytle?
Casey jumped on a red cross flag and gained a position by doing so, and will be penalized 1 position, which he gained on the red cross flag on the triple when he must roll all 3 jumps.
So Davey, does that mean he can get it back?
That means he could get back up there. He could still finish 2nd place, but a win is out of the question no matter where he finishes on the track.
Okay, that's our situation. Shea Bentley is our leader in the 125 main. He's looking for his very first Supercross victory. We'll be right back to see if he can do it.
Rated E for everyone. Super Cross 101. Oops. Whoops. Superman.
Unintentionally disobeying that red cross flag. A more lenient penalty than usual. The normal is a 1-lap penalty. David Pingree in good position to extend his points lead. He's behind Lytle and way ahead of the runner-up Greg Schnell, who's having a tough time of it today. Pingree trying to pull up on Casey Lytle. Shea Bentley, number 104. Possibly making sure that technicality didn't decide who wins the race by passing Lytle. Shea is fast, David.
He's looking perfect too. Look at him on the power early. Great timing over the triple. Actually, Jover jumped it a little bit that time. Got a little jolt to his head. Doubles through here up onto the plateau. Look at the way he rides too. Doesn't even look like he's trying very hard. This kid's in great shape. Now they're able to get over the triple. The track's clear. Pingree is moved around Casey Lytle now, and Lytle will, if he finishes 3rd, will actually be 4th, I guess. So this is going to be a disappointing night, especially coming off that win last week.
Pingree wants to hold on to that points lead. He came into this race with an 8-point lead on Greg Schnell.
If he can stay where he is, he's going to extend that. But I'll tell you what, the way Bentley's riding out front, Pingree can't afford to give him too much. Have him get all that confidence.
Bentley, 3rd 2 weeks ago, 2nd last week. Is grabbing for the checkers right now.
Look at this kid's clutch lever. Almost looks like he fell and bent it and it's sticking way up in the air. You see LaRocco runs it real high. Villemin runs it real high. It's a new thing these guys are doing. I can't relate, but he's making it work right now. In great shape. This kid runs quite a bit. He knows he's not going to get tired out there. I've seen him ride the Kawasaki test track, and he turns pretty close to the same lap times as the 250s.
Well, the Talon Volan out with a cracked collarbone, and Greg Schnell in 15th. It opens up the field for Pingree as a points leader, except for our leader, number 104, who still has some opportunities when the 125 West resumes after a break. Final lap for Shea Bentley, a kid who has worked so hard through many, many injuries.
How frustrating to sit out the entire season last year, knowing, or hoping rather, that he could be up there doing what he's doing right now. A third, a second, a first. It doesn't get any better than this.
Pro Circuit paid his contract through the entire year last year. And so this year he came back for bike, parts, mechanics, and an incentive contract.
It's working. He'll get rewarded after this.
Shea Bentley.
I'll bet you he's not even tired. I haven't seen many mistakes from him this entire race. This thing could go 10 more laps, and he can handle it.
Bentley out of Georgia takes the checkered flag for his very first 125 Supercross victory. Here's the battle for fourth underway. Tane. He was a race leader earlier, and we'll have to see where Casey Lytle fits into that picture. We'll have to check the official ruling. But one thing is very clear. Shea Bentley is our winner, and the fifth different winner in 5 rounds of the 125 Western Division.
This just turned out to be an amazing series, and you know, with some of the top guns injured and unable to compete, I was a little bit disappointed, but we may be seeing an even better series without those guys.
There's our 5th winner in 5 rounds of the 125 West, making Pro Circuit look good despite losing Talon Volan earlier in the day to injury. Let's take a peek at the Suzuki results board. Bentley, Pingree gets his 2nd podium. Tane puts in his best ever performance. Lytle ends up in 4th, and Isaiah Johnson in the top 5 for the first time this year. Another good ride for Plano Honda's Jerry Dostal. Greg Schnell had his 2nd tough day after drawing to within 2 points of the leader after his win in San Diego, and Brian McGavran scores his first points of the year for Jeff Emmig's team. Davey Coombs has made his way to Shea Bentley.
We're down here with a very happy first-time winner, Shea. Congratulations. What a great ride.
Yeah, I put in 15 perfect laps. I just waited to my time. There are a few close calls, but heck, I pulled it out. It's the happiest day of my life.
All year long, we've been watching different guys step up. We saw Pingree, Volan, Schnell, and this week it's you. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is, like I said, it's the greatest feeling in the world. I've really been working hard, and to finally get one underneath my belt, it shows how much dedication and heart I have.
Right on. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What does Bentley's win do for the points race? Well, on the Dunlop points list, Pingree, of course, still leads, but Bentley vaults into 2nd, just 9 points back. Tane and Lytle riding better as the season goes on. Volan no points today and is out likely for the rest of the Supercross season. He's tough, though. He might be back. The story of the evening, the kid versus the king. Rath is going through his at-the-gate routine. His mechanic, Randy Lawrence, just off to the right there, is there to assist him. Let's review the Honda starting lineup sheet. 2-time winners McGrath and Villeman right next to each other at the gate. Ricky Carmichael got the 3rd pick of the gate positions.
Well, McGrath just went out and just set this blazing pace, went right into the lead from a horrible start, made a huge statement, and all of a sudden, I figured that was pretty much it, and all of a sudden Carmichael closed the gap, so that was a statement as well. He's letting Jeremy know, hey, however fast you're gonna go tonight, I can match that, but see if he can do it for 20 full laps.
As the field, there's 934, David Villeman, right next to Jeremy McGrath. Starting to rev things up. Number 21 is Sebastian Tortelli. McGrath a 2-point lead on Villeman in the points. Larocco 8 points back. Windham and Carmichael also in the top 5. Rocking back and forth. The board is up. The 32nd board is up. We're set now for round number 5 of EA Sports Supercross from the Houston Astrodome.
See, most of the good riders, Jeremy, Villeman, the 2 hot shots, all the hot properties are lined up pretty close to the inside.
A massive chase. And it's Jeremy McGrath getting the whole shot with Ricky Carmichael in second. Ward in third. And Greg Albertine on Team Suzuki. Number 7 just got in front of Ward for third. So the Yahoo Sports whole shot award goes to Jeremy McGrath. That's his first whole shot of the year.
Well, he just took command, and that first corner was right back on the power. He looked like a dirt tracker going through there. Watch again. It doesn't look like he has the whole shot right at first, but he just gets that power. He actually bumps Sellards. Watch him right here. He lays it into the corner. Back on the power right there. Carmichael hung right with him.
Back to the live action. You see Jeremy already starting to pull away from Ricky Carmichael. He started with a 1.1 second lead, and now he's got it almost up to 2. Carmichael's got Greg Albertine behind him and Larry Ward, and they're separating themselves from David Villeman.
Well, Villeman has proved he can come from behind. He gets better as the race wears on, but I don't think this track plays into that kind of favor as what he was able to do in Phoenix as well. He's not going to tear up as much, and what Villeman was really able to do well was pick different lines once the track deteriorated. Here it's going to hold up pretty good. Everyone's going to run basically the same pace throughout the race.
There's Ward, number 10, riding with Payne, and Villeman right behind him. Villeman got a 6th place start in the last race.
He was behind Greg Albertine for seemed like over half the race. Once he got around, he was able to close the gap pretty fast. That's going to happen again if he plans on catching Jeremy.
Villeman, boy, hits that rut perfect.
You have to. It's inches out here. 1 inch to the right, 1 inch to the left. You don't hit the line you want. Messes up your timing all the way down the straightaway. These guys have to be precise to go this fast.
Winner of the shortened FIM Supercross Series. He just continues to ride well.
You can see McGrath going the other way in that shot. Villeman coming into the corner. Jeremy knows where he sits. I think Carmichael is going as fast as he absolutely can, and he is not able to stay with McGrath.
McGrath has got a 6.6 second lead on Villeman. Villeman in 5th. There's Jeremy. Bound and determined coming into this Astrodome to recapture the Supercross momentum that he had after the first 2 rounds at Anaheim.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to speak very publicly about he really should have won San Diego had he not had some front brake troubles. He really feels like if he'd have known about Villeman, he could have won last week. That put a lot of pressure on him to come out here and win this time. I don't know if he did that on purpose or what, but he is definitely living up to it.
Ricky Carmichael trying to hold on to his best finish, which would be second.
He's picking up where he left off in the heat race, 54-second lap times.
Something tells me that Jeremy McGrath is not going to settle into a pace here tonight.
He'll never do that again, unless he's got a 20-second lead, and I just don't think in the field that's assembled this year for this 2000 series, he's ever going to have that luxury. Carmichael is actually hanging right there. You see him coming into the corner. He hasn't lost much time. This will give Ricky a big boost of confidence, and he's been training extra hard, knowing that he came into Anaheim thinking he was pretty close to being in the right kind of shape. It was a big wake-up call, dropping all the way to 8th, and he's been working really hard with O'Mara ever since. It's showing right now.
Larry Ward is trying to move up for 3rd place against Greg Albertine. And I got to hand it to Ward. He started the season with a sore back. He crashed in San Diego and cracked a rib and hurt his arm. And here he is battling just 2 weeks later.
Well, all he's got to do is move around Greg, and he's on the podium right behind his teammate. Put a couple Kawasaki's up there to get a little momentum over in that camp. Larry's beaten Albertine before. Just got to try to remember those times. Just go after him, and he better hurry because Velleman's coming, starting to close that gap a little bit.
Endurance might be a factor with Ward.
I'll tell you what, Art, is a factor with everybody. It's a matter of how smooth you ride. You know, you look at Kevin Windham. He's talking about how he's in great shape. He's able to put in laps at intensity at the Honda track, 25 lap mains. But in a race, it's different.
Greg Albertine has been putting in lap after lap at Stefan Roncada's track. He's been training very hard lately.
Nerves. Well, that's what happened to Tim Ferry last week. He pulled out to a big lead. We saw that freight train battle of all the best riders in the world chasing him and closing the gap a little bit. He got nervous. His arms got tight. He couldn't ride his best. He dropped pretty far back in the field.
Larry Ward trying to make a move in the whoops. Larry's so good in the whoops, using his height advantage.
It looks to me like he's perhaps a little bit faster than Albie right now in some spots, and if he can get around, he'd be able to pull away. Albie's still riding a fine race.
Ward hasn't been on the podium yet this year. Bar to bar we go. Albertine and Ward. Ward gets the inside block pass.
That's just close. You know, Albie had to ride through there and just thread that needle, try not to hit any of those tough blocks, or Larry.
Our leader, Jeremy McGrath, look at this flawless style. Cuts the berm perfect. Goes through the whoops like they're not even there. It's McGrath, Carmichael, and Ward are top three with Villeman in fifth. We'll be back in a moment. RC's looking good in second, but the battle is for third with number 10, Larry Ward, riding with a broken rib, trying to hold off his former teammate here, Greg Albertine, number 7. And we see Villeman also trying to make a move on Albie. Here's Villeman to the inside. Villeman makes the pass. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. So Villeman moves up another notch to 4th place. The Cobra, as he's known in France, has put together a great comeback already this season. That was last week, surprising McGrath, but I don't think he's going to surprise Jeremy this week. He's got his sights on 2 Kawasaki's now.
You can see in that shot, just at the end of the whoop section, Carmichael going through the corner. So Villeman in some sections on the racetrack has him in sight. He doesn't have to look at the pit board to know where he is. That always gives you a little extra inspiration, knowing you can gauge from lap to lap, see if you're gaining or not.
One thing is a fact, though, he's not going to surprise Jeremy McGrath one way or another here tonight. But he's only 2 points behind. Check out the pass once again.
Well, he just comes around the inside right there, takes away the line of Greg Albertine, cuts right in front of him to make sure he can't come back on him. Greg's still riding a fine race. As a matter of fact, the way he started out the season, he looked a little shaky. His timing didn't look very good. He's made a nice rebound, getting good starts and starting to run up front with these guys. As soon as he does that, gets comfortable, he'll be able to stay there a lot longer.
Villeman now chasing down Larry Ward for a podium spot. Villeman right now in a save as many points as you can situation. He trails Jeremy McGrath by more than 12 seconds.
Well, after watching what happened in the past couple of races with Villeman, fitness is not an issue. It is a little bit of an issue with Ward, with the injuries he's had. And we've seen Carmichael fade a little bit in the last 6 or 7 laps. So it's not out of the question that Villeman could still end up in 2nd place in this race, but he's going to have to ride awesome to catch Carmichael if he can get around Larry Ward.
Tries the inside, shows the wheel, look out! Can't quite get Larry Ward on that one. The seasoned veteran who's had 3 decades of 250 racing, Larry Ward, is not letting Villeman by easily.
You can see Villeman as being very patient. This kid is so smart. It takes so much intelligence to be able to win a Supercross. It's not just speed. You got to be smart. Right there, he had a couple of chances to get in there, bump Larry, but I don't think he had enough of an edge on him to really make it stick. Both of them could have lost more time, or one of them could have gone down.
A battle for third. Larry Ward not only wanting to save that podium spot, but he's looking at his best finish ever in Houston.
Look at the Cobra, they call him. Villeman just cutting every corner a little bit tighter. Watch this.
Villeman moves into third place.
I mean, Larry knew he was coming there, but the problem is down that straightaway, it's so hard to get through there and jump all those obstacles. I don't think Larry was comfortable to move over to the left side of the straightaway and try something new midway into the main event.
Larry's had his problems this year, starting second in the opener and drifting back to ninth in other similar situations.
A little bit better timing, jumps all the way up over that extra jump into the corner. He just shaves off about 10 feet of racetrack. And he didn't have to go fast to do it, it's just a better line. Now the question is, can he catch Carmichael, Art?
That's a big question with 9 laps remaining.
That's a lap longer than a heat race. So much can happen in one of those. It's very possible.
He's about 7 seconds in back of him. Boy, would that be a ride. Let's check it out. Stay focused. Chad Watts telling Ricky Carmichael.
He put that 56-second lap time up there to try to keep him focused on something other than who's back there. Just race yourself, race the track. The problem with that 56-second lap time is it's a second slower than Jeremy and a second slower than Villeman.
With McGrath now dominating and Ricky Carmichael number 4 in second. Let's go down to Davey.
David Bailey's exactly right. David Villeman is the odd man out right now, the guy moving up, and Carmichael knows he's there because the lap before his mechanic Chad Watts put out Villeman coming.
Well, that'll make you nervous. He's got a pretty good lead, but remember McGrath had about this same lead halfway into the main event last week and still wasn't enough. And we're talking about Jeremy McGrath. Look at that. Doesn't even have to put his feet down. Just incredible balance. You can watch his body and just tell exactly what he means to do.
A reminder right now with this excitement underway, if you can't make it to the Supercross races, check in with PaceSupercross.com. They get the live webcast underway every race, and you, the fans, can call in after the race with questions. In fact, when I was on that show a couple of weeks ago, Ezra Lusk, who was in Georgia, called in to say, hey, I enjoyed the webcast.
Everyone's listening in.
Our leader, Jeremy McGrath. What a job he's done. He came back just like he said.
He's been struggling on the start this year, too. He started out pretty good in Anaheim, but then it kind of went south from there. San Diego was terrible. Last week wasn't much better. He knew what he needed to do. The start is the main thing, and Jeremy, at times, I've talked to Skip Norfolk in the past, his mechanic while he was at Honda, and Jeremy will set his bike up for the start sometimes, even if it means he loses a little bit out there on the racetrack. If the percentages are in the start, that's where he'll set the suspension up so he gets off the line with the maximum amount of traction and no wheelies.
McGrath has won 4 races here in Houston prior. If he wins this one, he would tie Bob Hanna and Mark Barnett as the winningest rider in this great traditional venue called the Astrodome. They've had an event every year here since 1974. 35 races, including several doubleheaders. And Jeremy McGrath has not had the benefit of a doubleheader win here at the Astrodome. Bob Hanna did, so did Mark Barnett.
Well, I followed Hanna to one of those. I got second. I'll tell you what, at that time in my career, I was just stoked to be in second behind him. And I think right now, Carmichael, in one sense, would really like to be able to beat this guy, but staying as close to him for as long as he has in this race is a step better than last week. So he's got to be pretty happy.
Carmichael looking for a second place finish. That would be his best of the season. We'll be right back, and the checkers should wave in just a few minutes.
When Suzuki.
Welcome back as Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross from Houston. Jeremy McGrath, number 1, is on his way to winning his 3rd race of the season, his 63rd career victory. He's on course to become the all-time winningest Yamaha rider. He's already the winningest Honda rider, of course. But should he win this race right here, it would be his 18th win on a Yamaha. Bob Hanna is the current Yamaha leader, career leader with 20 Supercross victories. Now, this continues to be Yamaha's greatest start on a season as well. Jeremy getting around Heath Voss, the privateer. RC is looking pretty good in second place, picking up the pace.
Yeah, Carmichael did pick up a second that time. You'll see him just enter that picture in the green going by. Jeremy is starting to put it into the cruise mode, which with the lead that he has should be enough. Carmichael did pick it up a second that lap, gain on Jeremy, but not close enough to really bother him. He did pull away from Villeman, and that's really starting to impress me. Carmichael has worked hard on his fitness, and I talked about it showing now about 5 laps ago. No, now it's really starting to show. This is where you start to get tired.
Hey, talking about Ricky Carmichael, David, I have a question for you. He looks so much more mature and patient this week than he has in the past. What does that mean to a rider when he gets on the podium for the first time like Ricky did last week?
Well, you just have that clear picture of, I know what it takes now. And anytime you visualize, which a lot of these guys do, the race beforehand, you've got a clear picture of what it takes. You know that your training is working, that you're on the right track. You just keep doing the same things, but you have a little bit more confidence.
Well, Carmichael's riding with a lot of confidence right now, that's for sure. He's in second place, looking for his best finish of the year. And here in third place, 9:34, David Villeman. Villeman is looking for his 4th podium of the year.
Yeah, this will be a fine ride, but it's 17 seconds or so behind, or like 13 seconds right there behind Jeremy. 17 back to Albertine. I think at this point, these guys are pretty tired. Things are pretty separated. He's just going to have to take this and try to get a better start next time. As fast as everyone is now, there's top 4 or 5 spots each week. You just can't afford to get off the line 7th or 8th and just work your way up.
Boy, look at the style of Villeman.
You see him looking over there on the triple. Well, not gaining, so maybe I'm just going to have to settle for this 3rd. Still jumps that triple. Cuts the corner a little bit tighter. I really like that about this guy. He gets into corners and he doesn't waste any time getting out in that powder and the bumps. He cuts it early. It's right back out on the power.
Riders on Yamahas have never won 4 races in a row to start the season before. But now they're on the verge of winning their 5th as we check out the battle for 5th place. Larry Ward and Mike Larocco. Ward has ridden very tough. Here's Jeremy McGrath. Last lap for Jeremy.
These fans are looking for that patented knack-knack. They may get one here coming up. Here comes the triple.
The winningest rider in history. The defending and 6-time Supercross champion. You might surprise him once, but you're not going to surprise him a second time.
Well, things can stay the way they are. Jeremy will have done exactly what he said. He will prove that he is the best, the fastest, and he'll extend that point lead. 5 more points on Villeman.
He will add to his points lead, obviously. And the checkers are out. And the checkers are starting to wave for Jeremy McGrath. His 3rd victory of the season. His 63rd career Supercross victory. And David, it's looking like Sherman's march through the Supercross season for Yamaha.
So Larocco did get around Larry Ward that final lap. Larocco just came out of nowhere. You see Carmichael to tell Larry Ward there, hey, good job, teammate. But as soon as Carmichael went across the finish line, and he looked as though he'd won the race. He was happy that he stayed up there that long. He knows that what he's doing is paying off. Not quite as good as McGrath, but he's happy.
And the two shake hands. Great sportsmanship between those 2 riders. Ricky Carmichael's got to be very proud of his best Supercross finish on a 250. Checking out the Honda results page, McGrath, Carmichael, Villeman, Albertine's best finish of the year, and Mike Larocco rounding out the top 5. Larry Ward holding nicely in 6th after LaRocco got by him. And Kevin Windham ending up in 7th with Huffman, Tortelli, and Ferry rounding out the top 10. Well, it's interesting anytime when someone predicts what they're going to do and goes out and does it. It almost sounds like a Bob Hanna scenario. We'll be right back to the Astrodome to hear from our great winner and the runner-up in a moment. Phenom. Driven by the success of his amateur career, Travis Pastrana enters the world of professional supercross, the most publicized and popular first-year rider in the sport's history. He will have a lot to prove. Ernesto Fonseca and Nathan Ramsey, last year's divisional champions, are now competing for the 125 Eastern title. Throw in a host of other ambitious warriors, and we've got a wild chase for a very prestigious title. Stay tuned. Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross, next from Indianapolis. From the RCA Dome in Indianapolis, it's round 6 of Toyota Trucks presents EA Sports Supercross. The home of the AFC Eastern Division NFL champion Colts is packed to the brim to follow 2 big Supercross stories here tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Art Eckman, along with former Supercross champion David Bailey. Jeremy McGrath, David, issued a big message in Houston last week. I have got this thing under control as he dominated for his 3rd win of the season. However, during the week, Jeremy had an illness and couldn't practice as usual.
Well, anytime you have an illness and it throws you out of sync, you can't practice during the week. To make matters worse, yesterday there was no practice session, so Jeremy's coming into this race stale. We've seen him ride with chicken pox, we've seen him ride with the flu, and he still wins. But what's really important is that this is a great opportunity for guys like LaRocco and Carmichael and Windham who are starting to slide back in the points to really start to close that gap. They've got to do it now or it's too late. Carmichael's 31 points down, Windham's 35 points down. Jeremy could stay home and still keep his lead over these guys. So it's time now to start to close that gap.
Also here this evening in the RCA Dome is the other story, and that is the opening of the 125 Eastern Regional Division. It is packed with talent. Not only do we have the defending champion Ernesto Fonseca who's in the field, but also the 125 Western champion Nathan Ramsey, who an injury earlier had to move back into this division. We've got 4, 5, 6 other guys who can win this title.
You know, it's unbelievable to see the depth of talent in this 125 class. I've never seen it. I think we're in double digits for guys that can win races and potential guys that could win the championship here. And I think it's going to be the guy that's really consistent. Fonseca knows it's going to take consistency. He won't be able to win 6 races this year. If he does, he is the man, because this class is stacked.
Let's go down to Davey Coombs, who knows that there's a phenom that's being born here this evening.
Well, coming up later, we got a big treat because tonight marks the debut in Pace Supercross of 16-year-old Travis Pastrana, already arguably the 2nd most famous motorcycle rider on the world. Travis is known for being fearless. He's a great jumper. He's the king of the X Games. But a lot of the qualities that he portrays that people think will take him to the top, well, the guy behind me, number 934, David Billum, already has them, and he's already in the 250 class.
Checking out the track map now and what these riders have to accomplish.
Well, it's not going to be easy. After the long start, that left-hand first corner, this Dirtworks crew has a tough time confusing these riders, but they've done it tonight. That next straightaway after the first corner, full of jumps, has an actual downhill and uphill whoop section. Haven't really seen anyone get through there clean all night, including Jeremy McGrath. And you got the...
Here's our first qualifying heat underway. Villeman with a great start. David Villeman, who's 2nd in points to Jeremy McGrath, number 934.
Looks like...
Is that Grayson Goodman behind him?
Yeah, but it looks like also maybe in a little trouble after coming out of the first corner. We'll get a look at that as these guys go back around. Good start for LaRocco right up there in 3rd. He's riding in some pain ever since his crash in Phoenix.
LaRocco makes the pass on Grayson Goodman. Here comes Albertine, number 7 of Team Suzuki. He hooked it pretty tight in that corner. Larry Ward is down. Larry Ward of Team Kawasaki is down hard once again. He was just recovering from a broken rib up high in the rib cage.
That was the incident I was talking about right after the first corner. He got collided with somebody in that tricky whoop section I just talked about in the track map. These guys are approaching it now.
Sebastian Tortelli and Grayson Goodman going at it now. Here's Tortelli, number 21 on the inside, making a clean pass. Look at Grayson Goodman. Nice timing.
Well, part of what allowed Tortelli to make that pass in the first place was to give something up in the corner, and Grayson knew that. Challenged right back, got in a good line where he could make that pass. We're going to see a lot of that tonight, the way the track's designed. What I like also about this is that as they come out of this corner, approach the triple, it leads them right into a long loop section, and right after that's the finish. I always like seeing a loop section before the finish line, because if you got a close race, one guy can just bonsai it through there like a prayer, hope he can stay on the bike, maybe pick up a position.
David Milliman, Mike Larocco out in front, but Grayson Goodman holding on to third impressively. The Plano Honda full-time rider has made 3 of 5 mains, a heartbreaker in Houston last week, however. Here's Tortelli to the inside. He takes it away from Grayson. Sebastian Waugh, number 31, is right behind him, also of Planet Honda.
See, Grayson's getting caught into trying to ride defensive right now.
So the Planet Honda gets in front of the Plano Honda out of Plano, Texas. And here comes Greg Albertine.
As soon as you get into a position where you find yourself having to ride a little bit more defensive, the way the track's laid out, these guys just come right by. Look how far Grayson dropped. 4 positions. Just trying to protect his position.
Number 20 is Damon Huffman. Huffman bar to bar as they go over the triple.
Look at Huffman wheelies just before the first bump heading into that loop section. He gets a little bit better drive through there. He's able to keep the bike flatter that way.
Remember tonight, only the top 4 out of each qualifying heat get a transfer to the main event. The rest have to head on to the semifinals, where the top 5 get into the money, and then the final 2 gate positions come out of the last chance qualifier. But right now, it's Milliman, Larocco, Tortelli, and Albertine. There's Heath Voss, number 33, the privateer, trying to catch up with Huffman. Huffman's on the bubble right now. He's got a teammate in front of him. If he's going to make the main event, he has to get in front of Albertine.
It's kind of a weird situation. You know, if you make it to the main, your teammate's going to have to go to the semi, but as much of a team as these guys are, it is pretty individual. So if Huffman can make that pass, he'll do it.
So more qualifying heat action from Indianapolis, Indiana, when we return. Is being brought to you by Honda, maker of the all-new Rancher, built for the ranch we call Earth. And by Toyota Trucks, unbreakable every day. And by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2000, get $400 worth of free accessories and great financing on selected models. EA Sports Supercross from the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. And our leader is David Milliman, who has set an impressive pace with Mike Larocco out of the shot in second. Let's get on to Davey Coombs now as the 6-time champion Jeremy McGrath looks on. He'll be in the second heat.
Jeremy, I know you were sick all week. How do you feel right now?
You know, I feel a little tired, a little run down, but as always, I think I'll be all right.
Is your goal going to be to go out and just get points? You're going for the win again?
No, my goal is definitely to get the start, get out there, ride as many fast laps as I can, and get the win. We'll see what happens.
David Milliman, though, is skying over the triple right now and has taken the whoops with a tremendous amount of confidence.
Well, when you've got a lead like this, you don't really have to push it that hard. So he's just kind of testing out the racetrack right now, making sure that the bike's set up just the way he wants. He's got the right tires on it, the suspension's dialed in. Carmichael earlier made a mistake of trying to adjust the suspension for the way the soil is. The soil here is like a sponge, so these guys tend to set the suspension up a little stiffer. He went too stiff. He's getting all that figured out in his head right now, so he can do this again in the main.
There's the difference, gaining 5.7 seconds on second place in the last lap.
These guys are turning 54-second lap times. That's what McGrath was turning earlier. He was the only guy down in that range.
You know, Villeman keeps riding like this, David. I wouldn't be surprised to see the battle go all the way to Las Vegas. And, of course, that's the site of our final race. And the first ever pay-per-view from Sam Boyd Stadium. We're going to have a heck of a battle between these two.
I tend to agree. All the championships that McGrath has won, they really haven't been different. I mean, he's won them all by huge margins before Las Vegas. I don't know if we're going to see that this time.
The final lap, the white flag lap, is underway for David Villeman.
Either way, you can see it. He realizes he's not going to get that downside of the jump, where he's trying to set the motorcycle. You can watch his body and see that he's trying to put it there. I call it body English. Well, you just won't see more body English from any rider out there than David Villeman. This guy just climbs all over the motorcycle. I think Jeremy really appreciates watching him ride, too. I've talked with him about it. Jeremy's really impressed. He just says to me, that guy's good, huh? Yes, he sure is.
Impressive as he goes through the whoops. Villeman, LaRocco, Tortelli, and Albertine right now in good position as the checkers are flying for David Villeman. Mike LaRocco takes second place. And a good performance from Sebastian Tortelli as we take a look now at the Suzuki EA Sports Supercross results page. Villeman, LaRocco, Tortelli, and Greg Albertine get the direct transfer to the main event. Heath Foss on to the semis. Let's go down to Davey with the winner.
David, you look fantastic out there in that heat race, but I got to ask you, is that the fastest you can go? Because, man, you were flying.
Yeah, I rode good in the cover first laps, and I feel good. We test a lot this week on the bike, and yeah, Matt did a great job, and my bike is really good. And I hope to ride like that in the main event, and just get maybe a top 5 start will be good for me.
All right, good luck, David.
Thanks a lot.
Jeremy McGrath and the rest of the 250s are coming up next in our second qualifying heat. Comes Jeremy on the inside. Tim Ferry, though, riding very well. McGrath back into second place, but Kevin Windham with a big lead, about an 8.4-second lead.
Well, this could be Jeremy's first loss in a heat race this year. He comes up a little bit short right there. That wasn't the problem, but he started to make his corner before the bike was even settled. And that's just how far ahead that guy thinks. I remember talking to Larry Brooks one time, driving with Jeremy. Jeremy's in the passenger seat trying to get Larry. Look out. What are you looking? Watch out for that. And Larry's like, what are you looking at? And Jeremy pointed way up the road. This guy looks way ahead, thinks a little bit quicker than most guys. And right there, it caught him off guard.
Look at that. RC, Ricky Carmichael is starting to make a move on Tim Ferry now. He'd love to get that third position, but wants to be careful. Michael Craig is on the bubble in fifth, as you see on the score sheet. Carmichael trying to get into strike position on Tim Ferry. To the inside, Carmichael. Ferry accelerates. Carmichael wide. Look out for the lapper. Carmichael had to come to the inside, and he makes the pass on Tim Ferry. Carmichael now will take on Jeremy McGrath. Wouldn't that be interesting? We'll be right back with more exciting action from Indianapolis in a moment.
Used to be, you could customize any part of your bike, except the tires. But now, create a striking design from the ground up with the bold new Cruise Max from Dunlop. Performance and style.
Windham is our leader, but the battle for second is on as Ricky Carmichael, number 4 from Team Kawasaki, is trying to make a move on second place Jeremy McGrath of the Mazda Chaparral Yamaha team.
This is a great time to try to attack Jeremy, having not felt very well this week, still not feeling very well. Carmichael has an opportunity right here to maybe catch him a little bit off guard. He has come from behind to catch him, but Jeremy made a mistake. That kind of helped.
He picked up 0.6 of a second on that last lap.
Top 3 guys right now running 54-second lap times. That's the same we saw from Villeman in the first heat.
Robbie Raynard back on the track for the first time this year.
He must be thinking, man, has the pace gotten fast since I stayed off.
Jeremy McGrath cutting to the inside. He's got second place pretty well secure right now as the blue flags waving for him.
This is where Jeremy's good. Watch him jump out of this corner. He jumps all the way up over that whoop section, lands down at the bottom, carries the front wheel to the top, over the next jump. You see Carmichael back there having to hit more trash, more bumps, more jumps. It slows him down. Jeremy inches away a little bit more.
So Jeremy, despite the fact that he was sick with the flu this week, has recovered well here in the qualifying heat as we take another look at our leader, number 14, Kevin Windham. Windham's been kind of a mystery this year, David. He was looked on as a top contender before the season started. Now he's 35 points back after 5 rounds.
Well, there's a couple of things that could be going on there. This is just speculation, really, and that is, in my opinion, I think he puts a lot of pressure on himself to do well because he knows he can win. I think he knows that Honda expects him to now because he has the motorcycle and the experience and all the talent, and it makes him nervous. The other thing is if you look back over the seasons, he's had a lot of injuries, and it could be that he's trying to just be smart, get through the season without an injury, and pace just isn't quite fast enough.
Putting his fist in the air, it's got to be a vote of confidence for Kevin Windham going into the main event. Interesting to see him trying different lines while having this big lead, David.
Yeah, I don't think it'll bother him that much to have those guys close in on him a little bit here in this final lap, as long as he still gets the heat win. This is the kind of break he needed. I get the feeling at times that he really doesn't think he's as good as he is. And that happened to me in my career. I'd watch other riders and go, man, these guys look like they're flying.
The heel clicker and the checkers for Kevin Windham. His 3rd heat win of the season. Jeremy McGrath, a very credible 2nd place. But obviously, in losing his first heat race of the year, we'll think back in the pits, I got to step it up a notch.
Well, he needs to stay off the ground, basically. I don't think he's worried about his pace because that last lap he was 2 seconds faster than Windham. The lap before that he was 1 second faster. And as far as I can tell, a 53-second lap time in that heat race is the fastest all night. Jeremy had it. Just got to keep it on 2 wheels.
So it's Windham, McGrath, Carmichael, and Ferry that make the main event, with Michael Craig having to go on to the semifinal round. Let's run down to Davey now, as that was the Honda results page.
Well, Kevin, I know it's been a tough year so far, but you went out there, you rode smart, you rode smooth. It's got to be a big confidence builder going into the main event.
Yeah, that qualifier was faster than the first one, but you know, definitely had the pressure behind me. I felt McGrath there the first couple laps, and I guess he went down in one of the corners. We, felt like we were going a pretty good pace, and yeah, hopefully tonight's the night. Hopefully I can turn my season around, and it's been a little slow, a little rocky, and then I've had some good podiums, but I need that one little boost of confidence and a little spark of energy to get me over the top, and hopefully just ride the momentum through the rest of the series.
Before the race, I was talking to one of your bosses, Jeff Stan, who's got 6 championships of his own, and he said that that's exactly what you need. You got to go out there and you got to beat McGrath.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest with you, the way I've been riding, there's a lot more guys to worry about than just McGrath. But I know that I can do it. I set the fast times and stuff, and I'm right there competitive with the times. I just need to go out there in the main tonight and know that I can do it, and hopefully it happens.
Good luck in the main, Kevin.
Thanks a lot.
A painfully honest Kevin Windham as he goes back to the pits. Toyota Trucks presents the EA Sports Supercross Finals, a spectacular event that will be taking place on May 6th. The fans will want to mark that first time that Supercross racing has ever appeared live on television.
Can't wait for that, although I'll be there, so I won't really get the full benefit, but all my family and friends are going to be pretty happy to see it that way.
7:30 Western, 10:30 Eastern time, full 3-hour coverage. We'll be going back in the pits and everything, so check it out. Pay-per-view from Las Vegas on May 6th. So the qualifying heats have completed as Kevin Windham and David Villeman have taken the top positions. They'll get the best gate selections. We'll be right back with more EA Sports. You'll see some action in the first 2 qualifying heats. Some of the interesting notes, David Bailey. One, I found that Jeremy had his problems. Looked like he was riding a little rough, while David Villeman was riding very smooth. Villeman, the winner in that first heat, had a fast lap.
I'll tell you what, the key to that is the fact that Villeman was able to get into the lead quickly and establish his own pace. He was able to look at the entire racetrack. Jeremy is back there trying to work his way into second. He was about 7th or 8th going around the first corner. Got into second and was trying to hurry things to get around Windham. He could be just a little bit off. We talked about the fact he's not feeling well. If you're just feeling 1% not well enough, that's the kind of things that can get up there and bite you.
Even though he was behind David Villeman, a fellow Frenchman, Sebastian Tortelli impressed me in that first heat.
Well, he had, from what I could tell, the fastest lap of that heat race, 53 seconds. He doesn't call himself a Supercross rider, but on this track, if he can turn 53-second lap times or anything even close, you're a Supercross rider, and this could be a night where he finds a great finish, gets up on the podium.
We've seen Kevin Windham win heats before in this season. We've seen him look fast in practice. Can he hold on during the main event? He had a nice win in the second heat.
Well, that's a huge question mark, and everybody's wondering that. And if you cruise through the Honda pits, there's kind of a weird vibe because the results from Kevin really don't show the kind of talent that he has. The guy can win practice anytime he wants, but it really comes down to mentally, can he handle the pressure from behind? If he gets a lead in the main event like we've seen him do before, I think he can take it. But if somebody's pressuring him, I think he may just drop a couple positions.
With Jeremy McGrath regaining the momentum in the points chase, we asked several of the riders before tonight's event their impressions as to how they're doing after 5 rounds.
Yeah, I just want to be competitive all year and stay on the podium and just to put pressure on Jeremy because I'm second in championship and I just want to be stay in top 3 and I will try my best to do to put a lot of pressure on Jeremy and maybe he will make a mistake and I can profit about that, you know. And so for me, everything is new. I never came here to Indy, so the dirt is different and all the East Coast race it's all new for me.
It's early. I mean, I really don't have any major game plans other than to go out there and, you know, to try and win some races. And I think that's what I'm going to shoot for each week. And I think as far as the points go, if I can, you know, at least be on the podium, I think that's where, and then you're going to stay the closest if you don't win and give yourself the best chance.
It's actually Phoenix. I led that race for about 10 laps or so, and it was pretty cool. I've never, ever led a race before. Third last year here at Indy is my best ever, so I know I got the speed. Just worry about getting to the end of the race is my main problem now, and just calm down, and I'm just going to shoot for that top 5 spot.
It's been a tough start of the season, and you know, out rather slow, but positive side, I guess, is I'm healthy and you know, trying my butt off to get it up there, and you know, I really don't know. I'm digging deep and beating my head up against the wall, and the bike is absolutely great. You know, we're trying to change it and do whatever it takes, but there's nothing I want to change. You know, every day I ride it, I feel comfortable, I feel great, and even in practice, setting fast lap times and things like that. So I'm really happy with everything that the machine's doing. I just I don't know, mentally, whenever it comes time to race, I'm not up to par, and you know, it's really working on me right now. I'm trying hard to get it changed, and I'm confident it'll turn around here eventually.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a long road on this 250, and you know, with the help of Kawasaki and everybody on the team, I've been working hard on my schedule and at home, and every weekend been getting better and better finishes, and you know, looking to make that reliable every weekend, that I'll be up in the top 5 and put in consistent rides every single weekend, and you know, hopefully before too long, one of these races I'll be tapping at the door for first place, hopefully.
Supercross Live. It's a great way to see this exciting sport, and here are the future schedules after Pontiac. We go to Atlanta, Georgia, in the Georgia Dome. March 11th, we go to Speed Week down at Daytona, Florida, in that traditional track down there. And then it's up to St. Louis, Missouri, always a surprise in the Trans World Dome there. And it'll be coming up on March 18th. Ezra Lusk joins us as a special guest here in the booth as we look forward to our first semifinal round here in Indianapolis, Indiana.
In demand, pay-per-view for the demanding viewer. You rule.
We're here at Sterling Chevrolet with a little pop quiz. What Chevy dealer has a huge selection of new and used vehicles? And what Chevy dealer guarantees their pricing so that if you find a lower price, they'll refund 110% of the difference? And who's the only Chevrolet dealer with a mascot? You tell him, Tahoe, speak. Okay, mascot and trainer. The answer to all your questions is Sterling Chevrolet, 1/2 mile west of Drainsville Road on Route 7 in Sterling, Virginia.
The subject for this week's Honda Close-Up, American Honda's Dan Bentley. Dan came up through the ranks as a mechanic for 6-time champion Jeff Stanton. Great experience for becoming Team Honda's liaison with their 125 support team, FMF.
In anything, communication is important, as well as if you're just working with a single rider, or my job now is to work with the FMF team and try to help with any problems that they're currently having with the motorcycle, and then you know, contact Japan or contact our testing group and try to figure out what the problems are and make the bike as good as we can make it. And my job is to try to help with Cliff White and myself and FMF to come up with some engine settings that the riders like, and then Show is involved with doing all the suspension setup for the riders. And so it's a package deal, and we don't have really direct involvement. We try to look at it as it's FMF's team, but we try to help out with as much as we can with parts and assistance.